And we are following three developing stories tonight. First, Chattanooga police are investigating a shooting on Bella Vista Avenue this evening.
In Whitfield County, a body was found in a vehicle submerged in a pond. Channel 3's Hunter Hoagland is back from North Georgia. He's live in the studio to bring us the latest on that story. And we begin with Channel 3's Jake Chapman live in Cleveland, where a body was discovered this evening, the second such discovery there this week. Jake spoke with authorities. What have you learned?
Greg, Cindy, I've learned police got a call around 7 this evening and responded to this area. And as you just mentioned, Greg, this is the second time this week in the Cleveland area a body has been found. Now, I'm going to step out of the way, have my photographer show you what we see right now. As you can see right there, that is medical examiners and detectives right there on the scene investigating the exact location of where the body was found. Now, both Cleveland police and fire departments are on the scene here at McMahon Drive Southeast. The Bradley County Sheriff's Office is also assisting with the investigation. Now, on Monday, Cleveland police found the body of James Pocket Ledford off of South Ocoee Street in the parking lot of Hiwassee Mental Health Center. Ledford was found in a 1995 pickup truck with wounds consistent with gunshots. Now, we spoke, as you just mentioned, Greg, moments ago with authorities about the situation, and they say they've never had to respond to two bodies found in a week.
It's probably never happened again in our career. We do live in a good city, and I've never responded to a situation like this before, where we've had 2 homicides within 2 days. But at this rate, we are working very, very hard with the Bradley County Sheriff's Office. Our investigators are working around the clock.
And that was Public Information Officer Evie West with the Cleveland Police Department. Now, she said in that interview homicides, but she wanted to clear with me that this is a death investigation, not a homicide investigation at this time, and they plan to be out here for some time investigating, finding out what happened here in this situation. Now, we did ask her if this was connected to the missing person case. Right now, they said they cannot confirm that at this time, so stay with us as we continue to follow this developing story. For now, I'm live in Cleveland. Jake Chapman, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
This is a breaking news update from Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. I'm Greg Glover.
And I'm Cindy Sexton. We're following 2 top stories tonight: the wild weather pattern and the search for a missing 12-year-old boy in Chatsworth. Matthew Hopkins has autism and is nonverbal.
We'll get to Paul Bears in just a minute for the forecast. First, though, let's get out to Jake Chapman with the latest on the search. Jake.
Greg, you can see behind me several agencies and along with dozens of neighbors throughout the area searching for 12-year-old Matthew Hopkins. He's been missing since 5 this evening near his home. He was in the Ball Ground Road area. Authorities have been searching the woods around his home, and they've been searching both on foot and from the air. Authorities say they're using a heat detection technology with their helicopter, which they believe will help tremendously in this search. We saw neighbors walking down the road and going through the woods with authorities shouting for Matthew. Sheriff Gary Langford says they're intensifying the search because of the weather.
Of course, the temperature now is about 38 degrees, and he has a gray sweat shirt on. But if he's out too long in this, the worst can happen, and we don't want that.
And it is getting colder out here as we speak. Sheriff Langford couldn't stop praising the community for joining the search, and he says it's one big family here in Murray County. Now, since the boy is autistic, they have a little bit of a different protocol with the search. If you do see him, be careful with how you approach him. Don't touch him. Call police immediately. Stay with us as we continue to follow this story. I'm live in Chatsworth. Jake Chapman, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
An affidavit from the Cleveland Police Department paints a picture of a violent weekend 11 days ago that led to the murder of a man and a woman and the shooting of another woman. Christopher Roberson and Alfonso Johnson were charged with first-degree murder for the deaths of James Ledford and Jacqueline Marcloud.
Channel 3's Jake Chapman joins us in the studio. Jake, what other charges do they face?
Greg, they face a number of charges, and Johnson faces a charge of attempted murder of Velma McKissick, and it appears the trouble began with a stolen motorcycle. A friend of one of the victims told me there was no reason for anyone to lose their life.
It's a motorcycle. Come on. You can get a motorcycle. I'm pretty sure if they would have told the family about what they were going to do, they could have went and bought him a brand new motorcycle. Really? It's stupid. Nobody's life is worth a motorcycle.
Shonda Perez is still in shock. 2 people she knew are now gone.
Who could do this and why? It was crazy.
Perez says Ledford and she were close friends, and there was no one like him.
He's crazy, outgoing, always in a good mood. Just never know when he's going to show up when he does. He don't do nothing but laugh.
A police affidavit says a witness claims Roberson and Johnson were at his home off High Street. Ledford and Marcloud also stopped by. The witness went to the back of the home and went in a room with his children and heard gunshots. He says he came out several hours later and saw Johnson cleaning what appeared to be blood off the back door. The witness says Roberson bragged about killing Ledford.
It's cold-hearted, I think.
Ledford's body was found in a truck parked near Fort Hill Cemetery, and Mark Cloud's body was found 2 miles away 2 days later. Police say she had gunshot wounds to the head and neck.
I don't understand why they had to mess with her too, though. That was just crazy.
Now friends and family can rest easy.
I just hope that justice is served and that.
And I know they're going to find him. And I just want people to know that she was a human being. She's not just a news story.
It's the only 2 people involved.
No court dates have been set, and this is still a developing story. More information is expected to be released in the near future. For now, I'm in the studio. Jake Chapman, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
A string of car break-ins has residents of one Chattanooga neighborhood on edge. Police in Chattanooga say 7 vehicles have been broken into around Maldith Drive.
One neighbor who caught the suspects in the act spoke with Channel 3's Jake Chapman on the situation in Hickson.
The past year and a half has really spiked in the crime and break-ins and everything.
Criminals are breaking into cars.
Just things can be as simple as chargers or a pair of gloves or prescription medications. One guy had the title from his car taken.
It's a story neighbors on Maldith Road have heard over and over.
The other time I was pregnant on the porch early in the morning, and I watched them from my porch come up, and I could scream at him and it didn't deter him.
And LT Hunter's daughter, Laura Lee, has grown up with.
And then the next time I had her in my arms when they came onto our property and we hid in the garage.
Hunter says no matter what they do, the thieves keep striking.
Sometimes we'll lock it, but yeah, we never leave anything of value. You can't, because it's happening so often that you know there's a good chance that when you go to bed that night, somebody's going to be in your vehicle on your property. And that's scary.
She shared their surveillance video with us of Monday's break-in. You could see 2 men getting out of the first car while the driver of the vehicle behind them is keeping an eye out. Her husband, Josh, got an alert on his phone from the camera once it detected their movement. He went to the window and started yelling. He scares them off. For now, Hunter says the neighbors want these criminals to know they're watching them and plan to do whatever they can to put a stop to this.
I don't want this to be the new normal, It can't be the new normal. This is not the world we're going to live in, and we're going to fight back to protect our families and our home.
And the neighbors hope more police will patrol their area with this video evidence coming to light. Chattanooga police have now put this case on their property crimes page. And if you have any information, you're urged to call police.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. I'm Greg Glover.
And I'm Cindy Sexton.
A group of people from the Tennessee Valley voiced concerns over Governor Bill Lee's block grant proposal. That proposal could affect TennCare.
More than 1 million Tennesseans rely on TennCare. 65,000 are Hamilton County residents. A woman at the meeting told our Jake Chapman how TennCare has saved her son's life.
Rosalie House and her 8-year-old son, Hiram, were among those at Wednesday's public meeting. Hiram suffered a stroke in utero and has lived with complications his entire life. And his medications are expensive. She fears Governor Lee's block grant could cost their family everything.
So TennCare, Hiram's life depends on TennCare.
House spoke at Wednesday's public meeting and shared her son's struggle with health care. On TennCare, they were able to afford Hiram's medications and doctor's appointments.
Our mornings start at 5 a.m. doing breathing treatments and medications to get him going for the day. He is on a combination of 3 seizure medications.
But when her husband graduated from school, they lost coverage. And without insurance, Hiram's medicine cost more than $2,000 a month.
For him to get covered again, we could either divorce, we could institutionalize him, or we can move to a different state.
Fortunately, Tennessee passed the Katie Beckett waiver, which gives disabled kids coverage. Then when she read Lee's block grant proposal, those fears of losing coverage were real again.
A lot of people look at Hiram and see a little boy who can't walk or can't talk, but he is so much more than that. His life matters, and Governor Lee is acting like it doesn't.
Lee's block grant proposal works like this. The federal government would send the state $8 billion. Then Tennessee would have the ability to change the amount, duration, and scope of coverage without federal approval. That means it can change what's covered and how it's covered.
The fact that they are wanting to put kind of a budget on how much his medications and life-saving supplies will cost is sickening and infuriating.
State Representative Yusuf Hakeem has concerns about the grant and believes all Tennesseans should have a say about health care.
We don't want to take chances necessarily when it comes to the health of our citizens.
Governor Lee says this block grant won't cause those on TennCare to lose coverage, and this is all a misunderstanding. House hopes the governor follows through and doesn't leave her family without options.
I never imagined that I would have to choose between sending my husband away or sending my child away so that he can get the medications that sustain his life.
Mayor Burke was also at the meeting and believes this block grant proposal will hurt those on TennCare. The public comment period for the proposal ends on October 18th. Hakeem says they won't vote on it till next session. In the studio, Jake Chapman, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.